Hey everybody, and welcome to our live. I'm so happy that you've all been able to join us this late afternoon, evening. I have my beautiful wife, Jennifer Deere here. Jennifer, you want to say hi if you can?
Hi everyone, thanks for joining along with us tonight.
Jennifer has a little bit of a sore throat. I know it's summertime, but that still can happen, but she is here. She's going to do her best. And the way this is going to work, she's going to help me with questions as they come in. This is going to be a little bit of a different, I guess, live than we've done before. I'm going to be doodling live. I'm going to be creating a design, and I'm going to have to go fast and furious. So while I'm doing this, you'll be able to watch as I go along. I'll kind of explain myself as I'm moving forward. And then we are going to save it, and we are going to run it on a machine live. So this is really one of those things where I am crossing my fingers, hoping for the best, and hoping that everything's going to turn out okay, because there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
So we're up for the challenge.
Yeah, we're up for the challenge. Accepted. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We have a whole bunch of people joining us. I see people from Colorado Springs, from Australia, from Texas, California, Tennessee, more from Tennessee. We have people from Thailand, from East Tennessee. There's a lot of people from Tennessee here, Vancouver, Canada, Florida, Ontario. The list goes on and on. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions during the live while I'm actually creating the design and digitizing, put them up in the comments. Jennifer will interrupt me, but I'll keep on working, and I'll try to get any questions that you might have as we move forward. But I think that's pretty much it. That's how this is going to work. So I'm going to bring on my design that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a skull, or a set of 3 skulls. Part of the reason why is I was given instructions by Jennifer many years ago to stop doing skulls, right, Jen? You
slow down on them.
Slow down. She said I had way too many skulls, but I like digitizing skulls, and I kind of like skulls. I don't know what that means precisely, but we're going to do a skull design, and I'm going to do it within the doodler. So I've brought in my design, I've brought in my artwork, I've sized it to the size that I want. I'll show you the measurements when I get in there and start doing it. And I have, I guess, reduced the opacity of it so that it is kind of dimmed out, because it is stark black in the artwork. And I've chosen a color that hopefully you're going to be able to see all right. The other thing I am going to do as I move forward is I'm going to use a different camera angle. So while we were actually doing this, I'm going to change my camera angle so you'll be able to see my hand doodling as we go along. So you'll see it on screen, and you'll see my hand moving as well. Just so you guys know, I am using a Wacom monitor. That is a pen tablet, kind of like a pen monitor, not a pen tablet, but it's a pen monitor. Yes, I have the big boy. It's a 32-inch monitor that I work on. Yes, I'm going to put on my racing glove. I'm going to have my pen in hand. And this is one of the best things to doodle is with a pen, because it is, kind of like drawing and doodling. If you've ever tried to doodle with something the size of a brick, which would be the mouse, that is not necessarily as friendly. So this is all about creativity, and that's what the doodler does. As a little, I guess, starter, if you've never tried the doodler, we do have a demo version on our site. We'll be putting up a link for that. You can download the demo. It's absolutely free. We have a whole bunch of accompanying lessons that you can use with the artwork and with all the instructions. And you can play with the doodler. The only thing is you can't actually save the designs within the demo version, but the designs that I create that you follow along with, you actually get access to the stitch files of the designs that I created using the doodler, so that you can see the quality of the stitch out. So I'm going to switch over my camera. I have my driving glove on, so I better put on my goggles too. That's kind of what happens when you get to my age, is you need goggles. And I'm going to bring up the software, and we will start to doodle. So I'm going to switch over now so you'll be able to see my hand. And there we go. So within this design, I've brought it up. If you've ever seen my education, I do like to create designs at set scales. That's why in the doodler, I do have a 1:1. There's the actual size of the design, 3:1 and 6:1. Most of the designs I do are at 6:1. And I'm also going to take this, and I'm going to measure it so we can see the height of this. And if I measure the height from, let's say, right about here to here, it is showing that it's going to be about 2.4 inches in height. and the width is going to be approximately 4 inches in width. So it's going to fit right on a finished hat. I have chosen a color that I think is friendly. I do have my 3D on. Within all of my drawing tools, I'm going to choose my running stitch, and I'm going to choose a 2mm stitch length, and that's what I'm going to doodle with. So because it's already at a 6:1 scale, keep in mind that I have a really big monitor here. I don't need to really zoom in anymore, and I'm just going to select that object, start right over here, let's say, and I'm going to start to draw some lines, and I'm just going to go sporadically. I don't have to follow exactly where the artwork is, and that's the wonderful thing about the doodling is you do not have to follow the artwork 100% because nobody's ever going to see the actual artwork in the design. I am just kind of doing a freehand representation, knowing that I am at a set scale. My scale is 6:1, and everything that I create within this is going to be an actual running stitch with a 2mm stitch length. So I'm just kind of going back and forth and filling in the blanks. I am trying to sort of start towards the outermost side because with this, a lot of times with finished hats, I like to start in the center and move out. But because this isn't necessarily a logo, I'm going to actually start on the one side and move from the one side all the way through the center to the other side. And I know my registration is going to be good. I don't really have to worry. Little bit of detail. And then I'm just going to come in here, put a little bit more detail down, and I can just continue to doodle. I'm really not trying to put too much detail in, just a little bit to give it some definition, keeping in mind that right now I'm zoomed in 600%. So when this goes back to reality, which is 1:1, all of these stitches are going to kind of come together a little bit, and it will actually create the detail that I'm looking for. That's something I think that does amaze people at the beginning when they see me creating designs. They kind of see me squiggling like this and just, going haphazard really. And they think, well, it doesn't look very good, and that really doesn't look very complicated. I could probably do it myself. And that is the key. You can learn how to do this type of work yourself. You just need a little bit of instruction and foundation to make it happen. So that is the first part of the design there. I'm going to come in now and do the detail on the eye, come over to this side. And that's the other beautiful thing about doodling a design is we are creating the artwork. Nobody is going to ever see the original artwork except for you. It's kind of like our little secret. So even if it doesn't look great or good, I don't have to really worry about it because when it generates those stitches, and if I turn off the artwork here for a second, that's the beginning of my design. I know it doesn't look very impressive, but I can promise you that when we are done, it's actually going to look exactly like the skulls that I'm trying to represent. And actually, I did not like that. I'm going to go back and start over again. That's the other beautiful thing. I can always backtrack if I don't like something. And I just want to create a little cross hatching so that that looks a little bit bolder because I do want certain parts like the eyes and the nose to be a little bit bolder. So I might come here and go in one direction on this way, do a little bit of this detail moving forward, put in a couple of thicker lines, and then I'm going to change over to the other direction the other way so that this eye actually looks like it has a little bit of depth to it. So I am going in and creating depth within this, going back and forth and going around the outside to give it a little bit of a border. And then I'm right there done with that one eye. Any questions so far, Jennifer? If you have questions, please just let us know, and I'll kind of answer the questions as I move forward.
Gail was asking, is that the actual stitch order?
The stitch order, yes. The way I'm doodling and the thing that I do love about this software is the path that I'm actually creating with my pen is the path that it is going to stitch out when it stitches the design. And the doodler is set up kind of in a logical order like that so that when I do actually finish my object, and I'll turn this off and hopefully you'll be able to see it, I got the artwork, I have a little black dot right here, and that black dot actually when I hover over it with my pen, it has a little red circle that appears. And that tells me that when I start again, if I start right where that little red circle is, that is going to continue my path, and I'm going to create a design that actually goes from one side to the other with absolutely no jumps or trims, and it's going to be production friendly. Now here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a little bit of cross hatching as I move forward. I'll come in here, I'll create a little bit of detail for this eye, and again, a little bit more there, couple passes there, little pass over there, and then I'll move over to the other side and I'll create some cross hatching going the other way, and then I'll kind of detail around the outside just to give it a little bit more depth. And then I can come up into here, go on this side, and I did not like that. Let's get rid of that one. Oops, I have a little glitch there, so let me go back, and I'm going to start that again. So for whatever reason, the pen kind of froze up on me there, but that's okay. I can just continue on and continue to create my lines.
Susan said she loves seeing the two views, that she can see what your hand is doing and what the design is.
That's the advantage of technology. We have all these wonderful cameras and stuff. And just so you know, Jennifer, that is why I need all of this equipment, because Jennifer is always asking me when she sees the Amazon bills, she's like, another camera? Do you really need that? And who asked that comment, Jennifer? Who was it?
She said 2 views. That doesn't count for the other 100 cameras.
I have 4 views that I can use, and I think that she will agree that
Give us some hearts if you're liking the double view.
Okay, yeah. Because you know, I am on a streak here. I was actually right on the last live, and I'm not going to mention anything about why I was right, because I kind of promised that I would let that one go. So I am. But if you if you think that I'm right and I have just enough views so that everybody can see what I'm doing, please let us know in the comments. Jennifer, did you want to add anything?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So now just a couple little things, and with this, with the teeth, I'm just kind of putting a couple little pieces of detail in here, and I can do the same thing, just come back and forth like this, and I'm just creating all of this detail. Because this artwork, again, keep in mind that I'm zoomed in to like 600%, I do not need a lot of detail or density in something like this. This is actually going to give me just enough detail to create the objects that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go over here, put this point, come back and forth. And the reason why I'm kind of choosing these stitch directions is because when you look at this artwork, it looks like all of this is almost like, you know, speeding out towards one direction and the other. So it kind of has those lines that are showing movement. So the reason why I'm following these directions is because I'm trying to replicate the lines of movement that I see in the artwork. Any other questions, Jennifer?
Nothing that I see.
Okay, so any questions, guys, about what I'm doing? That either means that you're kind of hopefully paying attention and seeing what's going on. And again, this type of work is not overly hard, keeping in mind that I have, you know, created and digitized designs at this scale for decades. So I am very kind of used to knowing that what I'm drawing and what you're going to see sew out on the machine are going to be 2 consistent things. And I think that's where people do get hung up when they're first learning, is they're creating all of these objects on a computer screen, and they don't really understand or know how is that going to specifically translate into stitches. And that's the part of the learning curve that we like to get people past, is to, you know, let them know that you are going to be translating all of these little lines that you see into actual stitches that are going to generate detail in artwork.
Petra says patiently waiting, and Julie says she's fascinated. So yeah, they're liking this.
Good, good. And, you know, other than a couple little glitches, and one reason why I do like to wear my glove, because if you've ever, you know, worked on an iPad or one of these screens, sometimes they're set up so that if your finger touches the screen, it can sometimes do some wonky things. And, you know, you always have the undo button, which I do love in this software, so you can undo the objects that are giving you little issues. But all of this little detail is just being represented by a couple passes of thread. So, you know, I know that a couple of passes of thread is going to fill in the blanks. And it's one of those things, it's almost like a minimalist type of view where you're using a thread to define an area, and sometimes less is more. If I go in there and try to put too much detail, then that's when it kind of gets bogged down. But because I just am putting a little bit of detail in on things and leaving open spaces to create the type of look that I'm going for, that is going to give me that look. And if I did this design 5 times, every time I did it, I can guarantee it would be a little bit different. So, there's no set rules. I'm obviously trying to follow a bit of a path here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm, not missing any areas. But as far as, making sure that I'm getting every little piece of, detail that I see in the artwork, that's not necessarily the case, because, it's just, again, you're never going to notice if I miss something. By the time I get rid of the artwork that you're kind of seeing me draw on, you're never going to know if I missed something or didn't miss something. I'm just trying not to put in too much detail, because I don't want to create bulletproof embroidery. That's my key. I want this to run as smoothly as possible on the machine.
Denny says he loves using the running stitch.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Denny. The running stitch is like a digitizer's like fine paintbrush. It gives you the most control, and it gives you the most, if you're doing detail in embroidery, detailed work, the running stitch is 9 times out of 10 the thing that actually gives you the control of doing that detail. So there I have all of those little passes. Now I'm just going to look at the artwork real quick, and I'm going to say, okay, I need to go back up over here. And now I'll come in and I'll start doing the nose area. And here's where I probably will slow down a little bit, because I'm going to come in and do a little bit of cross hatching again, so that I get a little bit more detail. And then I'll kind of border around the outside so that it looks, clean, because I want this to look not as sporadic as some of the other stitches. I want the nose, the eyes, the prominent areas of what would be a skull. I want those to, maintain their detail. Same thing in this eye. I want to make sure that I have some cross hatching going here. So I might come in and just put a base in that eye there, and then I'll go the opposite direction and put a base over here. So the center of that eye is going to look nice and filled. And then I can come in with all of this surrounding detail and, start filling in the blanks. So I can go over here, start filling in this, start filling in this, go back and forth, do a couple passes, and just start moving around the design and getting all of this detail in here, so that it's going to give me a representation of darker lines. And again, Jen, if you see any other questions, just interrupt me.
Sure. Heinz is asking, with the running stitch being a fan favorite, is there a best stitch length that you'd recommend?
It really depends on the effect that you're going for. Because this design is actually has a lot of little details, like within the teeth. I'm trying to capture, tiny little pieces of details. I chose a 2mm stitch length, which is considered, pretty short, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough stitch penetration so that it sort of followed the details. The longer the stitch, it's friendlier for stitch count, but the downside is the longer the stitch, the more you're going to actually have less detail or precision in a design. Now I went all the way to the top here because I finished like all of this area of the design, and I'm really towards the center. But before I get into doing this side of the design over here, I want to make sure that I finish off this half. So I really want to finish this side of the skull, and then I'm going to start moving forward. So with this one, I'm just going to go over here, and I'm just going to start putting in some little detail, and I'm just going to, again, be really sporadic. There's no real rhyme nor reason. I'm not going in here and taking a whole bunch of time overthinking this. I just know that I want to make sure that I fill in some blank areas, and I want to be pretty consistent with the spacing that I see. I want it all to look sort of like as a consistent design. I don't want it to be really dense and heavy in some areas and then too light and sparse in others. So this area here, I'm just going to go up and past. This area here, again, I have lots of little swooshes. This also looks like it has movement, so I'm going to go back and forth here, do a little bit of movement over here, come over to this side and start changing direction over here. Just drawing my way through this. And there I see a little bit of sparseness. And now since I'm here, I might as well come in and get some of the movement up here, get some of this movement. I can start capturing this detail just a little bit. I don't need to go too crazy. And again, I am kind of slowing down as I move forward so that I stay consistent with, equally finishing each side of the design. So now I can see that everything pretty much here on this side is done. So I can see it kind of flowing forward. And now I'm just going to keep going on. And I can see that I ended off right here. I'm probably going to go down and probably finish the bottom of this skull and then move up to the top side over here. So I'm just going, and I can pan over a little bit if I want to see a little bit more of my area so it's centered. And then I just have to hit the center of my widget again. Then my tool is active. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here. Let's just travel down here. And again, I have a little bit of detail here. And I come down and finish all of these areas. Then come over here, finish these areas over here. There's a little bit of pieces there. I can just do that piece, do this piece, a little bit of a swoosh over there. Just tiny little pieces that are going off. And again, I'm being very random. Now here's where I might take a little bit more time because I'm doing the detail on the teeth. And I want the teeth to end up looking at least like they are separated teeth. I want them to have a nice flow to them. So I'm going to come in here and take my time, slow down when I need to, and then continue over here, come up, continue on this space, do that little piece there, finish off that piece there. I can come back up through here, finish this one off, and now come into this side here. And just keep on creating these objects. How are we doing for time, Jennifer? We have 1 hour. I kind of, and this is why I said there's a few things that could go wrong in this situation. I have an hour to finish a design from beginning to end and make sure that we have time to run it on the machine.
23 minutes in.
Okay, I better hurry up.
Yes,
Man,
you better.
I'm slacking. I think I might be okay. The areas where I know that I need to spend a little bit more time, I am trying to slow down a little bit. But in other areas, I put on the gas and let's get this done. And I sure hope this turns out.
I hope so too. Is your pen tablet lying down or do you have it angled?
I have it definitely angled. The stand for this model, and this is a Wacom Cintiq, and it is a 32-inch Cintiq. They actually, from what I know, they do not make this model anymore. They don't make this size. The largest size they have now is, I think, a 24-inch. So I am personally so glad that I have this because I do love a really big monitor to work on. But it was a gigantic stand. It gives me the ability to actually turn the stand so that I can have it like a drafting table. So it is on an angle while I'm working. And it just makes it so easy. I mean, keep in mind, guys, I spend a huge amount of time digitizing and on my, digitizing software, so it's, I need something that's going to be kind of friendly and ergonomically correct and make me as proficient as possible. A professional, crafts person who builds houses, they might use a hammer once in a while, but for the most part, I'm guessing they have all of the high-end tool guns and power tools and anything that can make their job faster and easier. That's what they're going to do. So when you get into this, if you are past the hobby stage and you're really doing this to, create pieces of art, or you're doing it as a business, then I do suggest that you invest in at least a pen monitor. And we have lots of links on our, Amazon referrals for what I would consider reasonably priced monitors that, they aren't a Wacom, because Wacom is kind of like the flagship. It's kind of like, owning a Tajima. You have the best machine in the industry when you own certain machines. And then there's a whole bunch of other things that you can buy that may not be the same quality, but they will definitely, get the job done, so to speak. So you can take a look on our Amazon referral list, and we do have lots of referrals. And I'm spending a little bit more time again within that eye, because I want that eye to look like a main part of the design. And now, before I get too far, because if I turn off this again and I look, I want to get back over to this area here and finish off some of that detail. So I'm just going to, come right over here and come over here a little bit, do a little bit of this detail, do a little bit of this detail. And again, I'm going to come in here now and make sure that I finish all of these areas. So a little piece here. And again, I'm kind of replicating movement. I want to make sure that I have lots of movement here.
And yes, for those asking, the glove and the pen that John has recommended is also on the Amazon referral links.
Yes.
Larry is asking, are you doing this more than one color or one color?
Just one color. If we wanted to do a lot more detail of a design, I would need to make this a 2-hour live, and my biggest fear is nobody would stick around for the 2 hours. If you hear some noise over there,
it's not me.
That's not Jennifer. That is my dog.
One of the pesky dogs.
The pesky dogs are making some noise, and they want some lovin'. So Jennifer's over there giving them some lovin', and that is a happy boy. Right, Jen?
Yes.
It's funny. It's Ragnar is my dog, but when he wants some loving, who does he go to? Mom?
Yes, you need to give him some more loving.
I'm sure, like many of you, we are big animal lovers. We love our dogs, and that's just part of
the family.
Yes, part of the family. Okay, so if I look here, and this is where I can look through the design and I can kind of see if there's anything that I missed, because that's the other beautiful thing about doing this type of work. If I go to full screen, if I see something that I missed in this design, I can always go back to it and I can sort of fill in the blanks. So as I'm looking at this design, I see that it's that's filling up the screen. I'm going to get rid of the backdrop. There is the logo right there. If I look at it, it's 10,100 stitches. So it's not a crazy high stitch count for the design, and it's very minimalistic in artwork. But hopefully even at that, you guys can hopefully see at the 1-to-1 scale with 3D on. Nope. But you can hopefully see that that does hopefully look like some skulls that are, coming out on the screen, and you're actually able to see some of that definition. So what we're going to do is I am going to save that design, and I'm going to save it as a JDX file. Make sure that I save that, because that's the number one thing. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to save the file again. This time I'm going to save it as a DST file, if I can find the DST, because we're going to send this over to our Tajima Sai. And let me see, here's DST. Oh, that's Beruden DST. I need Tajima DST. Here we go, Tajima DST. And we're going to save that onto the USB. And we're going to ask Travis to come in the room here. Hopefully he can hear me. And we will get this design on the machine. So any questions while we are doing this? And what's the time now, Jen? Am I still on track? Okay, half an hour. Okay, we had half an hour to stitch this out. Here he comes. And as long as I save this properly on the USB, Trav, there you go, sir. Now, I should ask, we have to do this, and we have to do this really quick, guys. We have two options to sew this out on. I have both of these hooped already. I have a red hat here, which is a 6-panel hat with laminated buckram on the inside. So this is a 6-panel structured hat. Or I have this white hat, which is a 5-panel, and it is kind of a trucker hat with a really high top. Travis is going to start sewing one. Which one do you want first? Mark down red or white. Do you want the 6-panel red hat or the white hat? Which one should we put them on? I do see a question there. Is there any underlay? Absolutely not. We don't need underlay because it is a sketchwork design. So mark in the comments whether you want red or white. Do you see any comments coming up, Jen? Because I'll make the choice. Okay, they're just starting. Red, white, white, red, red. Okay, I'm seeing more red, I think. Here's the thing. The red is going to be black on red. It'll look good. And the white is going to actually end up probably having a little bit of a clearer definition because skulls are usually white or off-white. So let's do the red. So do the red, and then Trav, when you finish the red one, bring it back in here. Actually, you know what, take both. If you finish the red and we have time, get them both running on the machine. Now, Trav's going to go and set that up. I can see what he's doing over there. So we will just wait till he gives us the thumbs up. And when I see the thumbs up, I'll switch over to the machine and you guys can see it run remotely. So this is kind of cool. This is the first time. And this is, Jennifer, this is another reason why I had to get that receiver and transmitter so that we can actually show the sample running in a different room and the viewers can see it happen live. So if you like all of my Amazon purchases, give me some thumbs up and say, go John and Jennifer.
And my GoFundMe is...
Jennifer's GoFundMe. Okay. Anyways, no, we do not have a GoFundMe. We do not expect you to pay for our camera equipment, but I do like investing in things that are important, and being able to do this so that you guys can see the results is important. Any other questions while we are looking? I did see that underlay question. In this type of design, there's absolutely no underlay because it is, just a sketchwork design. That's really what we did. We doodled a sketchwork design.
Can you reduce the design on screen to the actual size?
Yep, the actual size on screen. And let me just do this. I'm going to turn, well, actually, I'll leave the 3D on. This is the 1-to-1 size. So that's the actual 1-to-1 size. And because the 3D is on, that simulated effect is on, it looks pretty dense, but when I turn that off and let's get rid of the grid on there, so there you can kind of see the size of the design. It's really not that big. You know, it's 4 inches. Like I said, 4 by 2.5 inches. It'll look great on a finished hat, or at least I hope it looks great on a finished hat. We're good? Okay, so we're going to flip the camera over, and let me just see if I can do this properly now. Okay, number 4, camera number 4. Okay, so Travis, you can, oh, there we go. Okay, so Travis is going to get the machine running. I'm going to minimize this one so we can see it start to run on the machine. You won't be able to see my face at the same time as the machine's running. We have set it up so that the Tajima actually has this incredible crosshair system. So there is a laser crosshair right in the center of the four needles. And when you actually are setting up a design, it will give you the exact position where you start. And it also allows you to go in and to choose where you want the design to start. So even though I started this design at center within the actual software, we chose to have it center bottom when you're running a hat. And that way, when it does the trace and when you're seeing the position of where you want this on the hat, you're going to right away know how close you are to where the crown meets the peak of the hat. Because usually with finished hats, you want your design to start fairly close to where the crown meets the peak. I personally don't like it when you see a design that is like halfway or to the top of a person's forehead and you have all of this space underneath. Would you mind closing that door, Jen? Just so that there's... So anyways, I'll just go through the comments here. Now, if you have any questions about what we did, we're just missing it. There's one comment here. It says, perfectly organized, just missing a camera for Jennifer. Well, I don't think that is going to happen. If you caught our last live, Jennifer did come on camera for a brief moment. And after all the years of my doing this with her, that is the first time that ever happened. Now, keep in mind as well, as we're running this on the machine, you're probably looking at it and you're saying, I don't see any skulls yet. Well, let's just be patient, have some faith, and hopefully you'll see some skulls start to appear. especially when we get that that view of the design, coming right, centered. Right now we're filming at an angle. Okay, and somebody's saying they want to see the registration. The good news with this is because it is a sketchwork design, we're not really worried about getting registration the same way we would designs that have satin borders or running stitch outlines around things. This is all kind of artistic merit. Any other questions that you see, Jennifer?
No. Anybody has questions?
Yep.
Let us know.
If you have questions, please let me know.
Otherwise, John can sing and dance.
I see. Yeah, go, John. My Amazon Prime this week needs a GoFundMe. So that's Elaine. Elaine, I agree with you 100%. We had our Prime days, I guess, on the 16th and 17th, and my cart filled up on a couple of occasions. Jennifer doesn't know that yet, but you will get the bill, Jen. Okay. Okay, the bobbin thread, I see a question, what color is the bobbin thread? We are just running a white bobbin thread. The tension on the machines are good. Actually, Travis and I just did a video today actually, and I'm going to switch the cameras for a second and we'll come back to it. But Travis and I just did a video today where I showed almost right out of the box how the tensions on the Tajima Sai ran flawlessly. And they do have a tensioning system and I guess a anti-dust system within the machine, so you don't get the effects of tension going off. But the machine, we've been running it in-house now for almost a month, and we run it every single day, and we run it in production standards, and the machine has not skipped a beat. If you weren't here last week, we announced our partnership, our relationship with Tajima, and we are now, I guess, helping Tajima distributors in referring customers, our customers, to take a look at those machines, get more information about the machines.
What is the name and the number of the machine?
The machine that we are using, the one that we're promoting on our landing page, is the Tajima Sai, and it is a crossover machine that has a very small footprint, meaning that it's perfect for mobile embroidery for smaller areas, especially in the market that we're more lean towards, which is the home embroidery market. We actually, not a lot of people don't want a machine that has a gigantic footprint. So the Sai comes in at 82 pounds, very small footprint, still has all the same quality as the commercial Tajimas, and it runs just super fast. We have it running at 800 stitches per minute out there, and it does not slow down. So it's a great machine. Now, while we're actually waiting for that to sew, I will fill the time and let you guys know that we are having a party. And the party is happening just over a week from now. So we have our Christmas in July embroidery party. We are, I guess, about, 9 days away now? So, yep, 9 days, I think it is. So if you'd like to sign up, we still have some space. It is online. It's going to be a webinar. We'll send you out a Zoom invite just prior to the webinar. So if you are signed up, don't worry. That'll be coming, a couple days prior. It is on the 27th, which is a Saturday. If you can't make it to the actual webinar, we will record it, and it will be there for replay for, I think it's 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, for 7 days for you to get it. And it's $39.95. Which our parties have always been very, very successful because we give away a ton of stuff. But this year we have some great prizes. We'll be giving away some of our products, and I won't let you know exactly which ones, but we're giving away a whole bunch of our design memberships and some other fun stuff. And we are very happy because Madeira USA has provided a wonderful prize valued at over $700 that one of our attendees is going to win, and it comes loaded with a whole bunch of stuff, from thread to stabilizers to scissors to oil to, just the bobbins. The list goes on and on.
And you do not have to be attending.
Yes, you do not have to be attending to win any of the prizes. For that $39, you actually get a ton of Christmas designs. We've done a whole bunch of designs, and we have a bunch of in-the-hoop projects that were done by our one and only Linda Rayburn. She did some incredible projects this year, and you will see those running at the Christmas party. You will get access to all your designs the day of the party. So as soon as the party's over, they will be in your cart. When you sign up for the party, you'll have an account with us, and all of those designs will be in your cart, and you can access them at that point. We did it in July this year because we had, I guess, complaints in years past, because we always did it in like November, and people were saying they didn't have enough time to make all the projects that they wanted for Christmas.
Right.
So we did it Christmas in July, so you have plenty of time to do all of your stuff. There are some bonus
Get
designs.
some inspiration.
Yep, lots of inspiration. The bonus designs, you will get those right away, and there still is time to sew those out and post them on social media, because we'll be having special prizes where if you have posted those on social media, we will be giving away prizes to all of those who did post. And as I mentioned, we are now an official partner with Tajima Distributors, with Hirsch Solutions in the US. They have coast-to-coast distribution all across the US, with RB Digital in Canada, again, coast-to-coast in Canada, and with Tajima Australia. They cover all of Australia as well. So if you're in any of those three areas, just fill out the form, choose where you're located, which machine you're interested in, because if you don't want the Tajima Sai, Tajima has commercial machines, and I'm talking from a single head with 15 needles all the way up to 12 head commercial machines that if you're a production shop. The thing that we give you is some exclusive bonuses when you actually use that page to get information. And when you do, or if you do decide to purchase a Tajima, which I can guarantee you'll never regret because the machine will last for decades, we'll give you some free stuff. So it's a win-win. And we are talking with other partners, distributors of Tajima. So we are going to be expanding into other continents in the very, very near future, God willing. Mighty Hoops, the cool thing also about... Sure, let's call up the hat. I'll switch over. And actually, you know what? While that's going on, I can just do this. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there, the hat's running now. But, the Tajima Sai does come with two different hoops standard, a left chest and a full back hoop. There are tons of attachments, from shoe attachments to pocket attachments to the round hoops that Tajima is famous for. And then Mighty Hoops has, I think, 15 different optional hoops that you can actually use on the Tajima Sai. So it is a machine that is very versatile to whatever type of thing you're wanting to do. Now, the other thing that we have, because we always give away some free designs to people who are viewing on Facebook and are viewing on YouTube, and I think we're going to choose one from each platform, right, Jen?
That's right.
So we'll choose one from each platform, but we do have 2 new releases this week. We always have new releases every single week, so if you are a member of our design club, or if you're just looking for individual designs, you don't have to be a member to purchase on our site, but if you get points and you want to download designs, we have new designs every week. This week we have a baby pack. I think this is baby bundle 3. So a bunch of cute little designs that you can use for your little ones, your newborns, all that fun stuff. And then this is more of an artistic merit design pack. There's some really beautiful flowers that have sort of a watercolor effect that I did. I would tell you which types of flowers they are, but I have had a real hard time pronouncing the name. So if Jennifer, do you know what the name of those flowers are? No, okay. Anyways, they're pretty flowers. If you know the names, please put them in the comments. But if you would like to win, just type in skull or flowers or whatever you want, but just type in flowers or skull or baby, and we will choose a winner momentarily on both platforms. And the design looks like it's almost done. How are we doing on time, Jennifer?
45 minutes in.
Okay, 45 minutes. Actually, this is pretty impressive because I digitized an entire design with 10,000 stitches, freehand, sketchwork design, and we're running it on a machine. I think, I'm pretty sure Travis will be able to knock this one off, get the next one loaded, and hopefully, if we don't have time to show it, because we might be ending a little early today, which will be good for Jennifer because she's not feeling 100%.
Heinz says that he's purchased the Mighty Hoops through our link. Thank you. And he said they're wonderful people to deal with. He's in Thailand, and I think it was Thailand. Could be wrong. Maybe it's Philippines. Now
Philippines?
I forget.
Okay.
But anyways, they're shipping out to him, and he's going to go pick them up soon.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Mighty Hoops, they are an awesome company. They are family owned as well. They just do an incredible job. And if you ever get a chance to go see them at a trade show, you'll be amazed at how many people are just standing there waiting. Okay, so Trav's coming in now. We'll
Okay.
switch the camera over.
Just real quick, how much maintenance, Susan is asking, is necessary for the Tajima?
For the Tajima, okay, just be sure to watch the videos that they supply. And when you get the machine, it comes out of the box. You just make sure that you oil the areas that need to be oiled. That shows you that you'll want to do, obviously, the bobbin, where it spins. You want to do that daily. You want to make sure that once a week you do the needle bars, and then there's a couple of other areas where you drop oil once a week, and that is pretty much it. There's not much else that needs to be done, but do make sure that you follow the oiling that they tell you, whether you use the machine or not, whether it's in production setting or not. Make sure that you do keep it oiled and lubricated. And I am guessing that it will run for years problem-free. The only time I think you're going to have a real issue, and this is with any machine, is when you kind of accidentally hit a hoop, or you have user error where you do something that causes the machine to have a mechanical issue. But Tajimas are rock solid. I mean, they just run forever. And I'm going to take this off, so I'll just get rid of the stabilizer on the inside.
How many needles are on the Sai?
The Sai has 8 needles. 8 needles on the Sai. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
And Susan says you should model a hat.
Okay, model hat. Okay, hopefully, let's see here. It's going on my, there we go. Now, if you can see skulls, let me know. Does anybody see skulls there? On the white,
It's almost too close.
It's almost too close?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to model it.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to model it. Okay. I haven't worn hats in years. Okay, can we see it, Jen? Okay, I see some yeses come up there. And let's go over here. I'm going to go to camera number 1. And this should... Okay, there, you can see the detail there. But can you see the detail?
There we go.
Yeah. So you're seeing the detail, but I mean, even in the teeth, you're seeing the little teeth on there. You're seeing the teeth there. I mean, again, this is artistic merit, but you're going to definitely see the 3 skulls there. And that's where, this is the type of embroidery that I like to do, because I used to say in event settings, whenever we did events with embroidery, that most embroiderers like you and I, we have a tendency that when we look at a design, we look at the quality, because we see things that other normal lay people don't see. And we have a tendency to do this. We get up really close and start looking at all the stitches. But the reality is, embroidery is best looked at and perceived when the person's imagination fills in the blank. So when I'm going to look at a design, keeping in mind that I do need goggles now, but when I look at a design, I will look at the design from about this point right here. I'm looking here to here, because that's usually the reality of when you're talking to somebody. So at that point, you look at it and you can definitely see that those are skulls. 3 skulls, artistic merit. And I don't know why my camera is not zooming in on those very well, but they are the 3 skulls. Awesome. So do we have some winners, Jennifer?
We do. Quick question.
Yeah.
How big would you say that hat stitch area is?
Which stitch area? Sorry?
How big is the hat stitch area?
The hat stitch area is, actually, I'd have to look at the actual dimensions, but it says it can do, I think it was like 2.9 inches height. I was always commercially more concerned about the height of a hat than anything else, because I have had some other machines that are more crossover machines. Tajima, even though the Tajima Sai is a crossover machine, the cap attachment that comes with it has the standard cap frames that you would use on a Tajima. So you do get like a 2.9 inch height. And usually if there's limitations, or if you get an error message on the trace when you're doing that, And that's why I always start from the bottom center, is because the peak is usually what will cause a hat to have problems. The peak hits the back of a machine and it starts to, create resistance. And the way the Sai and the other Tajimas work is, if you get too close to the peak, and that's coming where the crown and the peak meet, and it gives you too much resistance, the motor kind of feels that resistance and it'll say, okay, you can't do that, and it gives you an error message. And that's when I will move it up a little bit, like even sometimes 1 or 2 millimeters, and then I won't have any issues. And that's why when I do hoop my hats, I'll always take that peak. And if you have done caps in production, you know exactly what I'm doing right now. But I'll take that peak and I'll kind of bend it down like this, so that it's bent a little bit, so that it's not sticking straight up and going to hit the machine. And then usually whenever we finished hats in production, I would then take off the stabilizer and I'd give the hat a little bend like that, because the peak will go back to shape and you won't have that area. But you can do a nice height on the side, and I'm pretty sure you can go like almost from side to side. I mean, it's just, I'm not sure what the exact measurement is, but it will say on the page.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Travis has the next hat going. If you want to do
Okay.
just a quick flip there,
we will
and
show
I do
you.
have
And
the
the
winner.
white, I hope we have time. I'm going to try to drag this out a little bit. I promise I won't go beyond the hour. He should hopefully have it done within 5 minutes. But I will put the cap back on. And number 4. There we go. Yeah, on the white, it's going to be much more dramatic. We're going to be able to see the teeth show through. Whenever you're using it. If I did want to do this as a 2-color design, I could have put a very loose white fill and digitized it over that area, and then that would have actually, and then I could have resequenced it. Actually, I could do that right now if we want.
Can we call up the winners?
Yep, let's call up the winners. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so again, one from YouTube and one from Facebook. And the Facebook winner tonight is Debbie Moore Skills. So congratulations, Debbie. And the YouTube winner we have is Jerry Jones. So congratulations, Jerry. And your choice of one of our 2 new design releases for the week, which was the Baby Bundle 3 or the Flower Design Pack. If you want to email which one it is you'd like, into contact@embroidery-legacy.com.
Okay, and just so you know, guys, I'm not going to really show you my hand at this point, but I am actually doing a little fill here, and I'll show you after it's done exactly what I was looking at. Okay, so there. Now I just actually did a fill around that, and let's go to a 6:1 scale, and I'll turn the 3D on. So there, I did a fill on there. I can go into and select that object right now. So let's select that fill pattern. Let's bring up the properties, and I'm going to change it to a 0.6 millimeter fill. And the stitch length on that, I'm going to make it actually 4 millimeters. So let's do a 4 millimeter stitch length. And I'll keep the pattern to, let's say, a smooth pattern. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to also do this so that I do travel on edge. No, I won't do travel on edge. Let's keep it like that. Now, the reason why I did that is when you look at this now, it doesn't look very good on screen until I take the sequencing and I'm going to grab that one and I'm going to move it up in the sewing order. And then when I move it up in the sewing order, and let's go to our full screen, I'm going to see when I do that, now I have the skulls, and let's bring it up to 3:1. Okay, so you can see now I have my skulls in there, and let's change these colors as well. I'm going to take this color, and let's take that one, and I'm going to make this black. So there's black. Okay, so hopefully you can see that a little bit better now. But now what I've done is I have gone in and I've created a fill stitch underneath of that, so that if I want to run that on an actual red hat, like the one that I did, I'll probably get a lot more detail in the design because it's going to give me that, white shading within the skulls. And then, I pretty much followed around the areas where I thought the skulls would be and left all of that other movement without the fill area on there. So you can play around. I mean, and that took me all of a couple of minutes to actually, not even a minute, I think maybe 60 seconds to digitize that fill and move it underneath of the rest. So there is all kinds of really cool things that you can actually do with the software.
What would you classify as a crossover? What's the meaning of that?
When I say crossover, keeping in mind that I came from a commercial background, which we did have single heads machines to run our samples on, and when we did digitizing. But the first machine I think my family ever bought was a 12-head machine. And then we right away went to 24-head machines, and we bought a bunch of those. And then we bought 18-head tubular machines. So we were high volume manufacturers for contract embroidery. And that is not a crossover machine. When you have a 24-head machine that's 5 yards long, that's not an entry-level machine. Crossover machines are what I consider people crossing over or entering the market to become a commercial or professional embroiderer. So a lot of people start as hobbyists, and they might have a flatbed machine. They start out with a $500 Brother machine, and then they get something with a bigger hoop, and they can use it for sewing and quilting and a whole bunch of different things. But they don't have a machine that would be considered commercial, because a crossover machine has multiple needles and usually has that tubular arm that is kind of poking out the machine, where all of your other fabric and like a finished hat, your hat wraps around that tubular arm that comes out and allows you to do a baseball hat. You can get into a pocket, you can get into a sleeve, you can do jeans, you can do all kinds of things very easily on a tubular crossover machine. The other thing that we saw years ago when I went from the commercial to the home industry was the huge amount of people that were starting their own small businesses. And now with Etsy shops and being able to promote yourselves online through social media, and to get the machine into a public area, meaning that you can take a Tajima Sai, which weighs 82 pounds, put it in the back of a car, take a generator, and literally take it to a public area, a craft show, anywhere you want, and you can show people how the process is done. And an embroidery machine is like magic when you put it in an area and you have people standing around watching it sew who have never seen the process happen before. They turn into zombies, they stop, they look, and they get excited. And that's half the battle when you're trying to sell somebody something, is to get them to stop. You want them to stop and look at what you're doing. So this is what I consider a crossover machine: multiple needles, small footprint, lightweight, and is tubular. You're actually able to do items like baseball hats and things that you couldn't do easily with a home machine, which is a flatbed machine. Now, I know we are like 1 minute away from 5, so we almost hit that hour, but I have to be honest, we accomplished my goal, because my goal was to do a design, to digitize a design, and to actually stitch it out within a 1 hour period. And we did accomplish that.
We did.
Right? So, but we did even better. Within 1 hour and 2 minutes, maybe, we finished 2 baseball hats on the machine. So here we go. It's coming off the machine right now.
Deanne is asking, how fast are you running the machine?
I'll ask Travis as soon as he comes in. Normally, the Tajima Sai runs at 800 stitches per minute, which in theory is about 200 stitches less than a lot of other machines that are out there that would be considered commercial or home machines. But here's I guess the thing. We run that Sai at 800 stitches per minute top speed when we're running our samples, and without skipping a beat, it actually runs well. Travis?
800.
800? Okay. We actually ran this hat at 800 stitches per minute, which if you look at running a baseball hat at 800 stitches per minute, now can everybody see how much more dramatic that is with the white and the black? Okay, so there, again, this one looks okay. you know, it looks good, but had we put that white fill there, it would look even better. And there, that one looks awesome because the proof is always in the stitching. That's how this works. So anyways,
we should have
guys,
got our people to fill that in for us.
Fill that in for us. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this, leave us some hearts, give us some comments right now. We really appreciate it. We are right on that hour mark, so we did actually finish. Two hats, digitize the design in 1 hour. So that is awesome. But this design, just so you know, will not be available on our site afterwards because this was artwork that I used for personal uses. Jennifer won't let me release any skulls. So I just chose something online that I do not have the permission or right to distribute commercially. So I'm going to be wearing this for the next week or so until Jennifer makes me take it off or until it gets really, really dirty. But she might actually, it might get dirty by accident, right, Jen?
Wear it away.
Okay. Anyways, guys, we appreciate your watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And
who's looking forward to the Christmas party?
Yeah, Christmas party. Make sure you sign up for that. We're like 9 days away, and we will see you guys all really soon. And I guess I should throw this one up. You know what? I'll just put the video up because it says join us on social media. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
We appreciate it. If I can find